Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 66, in which my friend Nick and I are going to be exploring the wonderful world of what's going to be happening next week next week in Detroit, where I actually currently am. I'm in Detroit. I think you were muted, or maybe.
Yep, I was muted. My bad.
There we go.
But yeah, I am not in Detroit. I am still at home, regrettably.
Yeah, it's a beautiful home, though. So
it's very nice. Thank you. Yep, I am not joining KubeCon this year, regrettably. I actually really wanted to come to Detroit. I was very much looking forward to it, and Detroit's a city that I've actually always wanted to come and visit. So, regrettably, scheduling just didn't work out for me this year. But hopefully next year I'll be there and I'll be square.
You were working on some very important projects instead.
That's true. That's true.
I got to see come to fruition, which was
yes, yeah.
So coming up, we have a blog post already up. So if you go to blog.cilium.io, you can actually see the talks that we are going to be giving at KubeCon NA 2022, anything related to eBPF and Cilium. And this is all broken out and work done by Mr. Bill Mulligan, the amazingly awesome Bill, who has basically laid this all out, including our Cloud Native eBPF Day, which happens on Monday. There'll be a bunch of really great talks there.
Yeah, I think this is really great. This is a really easy, he did a great job, right? This is a really easy way to break out all the things that we're talking about and we're interested in at Isovalent. So this is awesome. Check this blog out and check out our talks.
Definitely kicking it off well. I mean, I'm really looking. I've seen a preview. I guess last week, or was it Wednesday? Time flies really around here. So we have an internal thing at Isovalent that we call Tech Talks, where we actually, somebody can present on any number of topics. And right around KubeCon time, sometimes that leads us to seeing previews of talks that are going to be at KubeCon, which is pretty awesome. And so I got to see a preview of this one, You and Your Security Profiles, generating security profiles with the help of eBPF with John Fastman and Natalia. And I think that's going to be a really exciting talk. I really enjoyed what they had to say. And it really helps us highlight some of the power of Tetragon. I think that's actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Watching the Tech Talk earlier, I'm like, this thing is so cool. Tetragon is a really cool tool. And so I think this is going to be a very fun talk.
Another one that I'm actually looking forward to, this is another one I'm pretty excited about, is Daniel Bernier and Lewis, who are going to be doing simplifying and making networks programmable with Kubernetes and SRv6. So this is a networking guy's network talk. I mean, it really gets into it, right? This is some BGP, SRv6, all the stuff. This is more about the network and less about eBPF, but still pretty darn awesome. Really good use cases.
I think this is going to be a great talk as well. I've been working with Lewis on some SRv6 stuff. It's a really new technology. It's only a few years old, right? And then seeing that get implemented into Cilium with our BGP integration is really, really cool. And I think it's going to be have a lot of fun functionality. And I think this talk is going to be really cool. But it is definitely going to be a networking guy's networking talk.
Yeah. Definitely. I should say networking person, but yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I apologize.
It's going to be wild. Yeah. And then we have in the open observability data, you know what is not in here that probably should be? I think there was
your lightning talk.
This might be this talk actually that actually managed to make it off of the waiting list. So Service Mesh Con, this talk, How Many Proxies Do You Need? Liz Rice and Thomas Graff, was a talk that they were planning on putting in, but they didn't initially get accepted. And then it got waitlisted, but it looks like it did get accepted. So if you get a chance to see this one, definitely looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. Also, shout out to our hands-on workshop, networking policies with Raymond, a member of our team. So yeah, if you want to see how network policies work with Cilium, go check that out. It's you get to actually play around with some of the tech. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it. And then there's some stuff at Kubernetes on Edge Day, again by Raymond, who is awesome, very technical, and actually really has a great way of explaining things. I really like the way he goes about it.
I think he's great.
And then the big shoe, the big day, the big show is on us. So on Tuesday, there's a Cilium project meeting because it is an open source project, and it'll be one of the first in-person Cilium project meetings ever. So definitely come check it out if you have time, 8 to 4 p.m., 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you're interested in Cilium, or if you want to just come, see how that's going, be a part of the conversation about what's next for it and what's happening with it, definitely come check it out. If you are interested, make sure you click this link, go ahead and sign up and join us there. I think it'd be great to have everybody here that we can get. And then we have Cilium updates, news, and roadmap. We have some great folks from Google. We have a really big announcement that's coming up, actually kind of around the same time, that I'm not going to spoil, but I will tell you that it's a big announcement. It's going to be very exciting. And then we have 100 gigabit clusters with Cilium, building tomorrow's network data plane with Dan Borkman and Nikolay Alexandrov. And then, you know what? My talk isn't in here.
I was saying your talk wasn't in there.
which is fair, because it's nothing to do with Cilium or eBPF. I actually put it in. I put in a number of talks talking about eBPF and Cilium, and I didn't get any of them accepted. Sure, figures, but I did put in a talk about perspective, and it's going to involve this amazing thing here. This is actually not me holding it close to the camera. This actually is as big as my head.
That thing is a giant speed cube.
It is.
It's
a
massive.
monster. Like, for reference, so here is a regular size speed cube, and this is like the one I'll be doing on stage.
That's awesome. So
It's
a speed cube of that size, can you really call it a speed cube?
It's not a speed
turning
cube.
that thing very fast.
No, because to your point, there's, when you're doing the speed cube moves, I might do something like this really quickly to flip these two corners. And I'm not doing that on this.
Oh, but it makes such a lovely sound.
It's very clicky. Yeah, it should be wild. But my talk is on Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. or something like that. So it's a 5-minute lightning talk, and it'll be about just a reminder of those things that, I think you'll get to see me solve that thing live, and you'll also hear me talk about a reminder of, everybody has a starting point, and it's also a really good reminder of, as we journey, as we delve down into some technical area, we quickly lose perspective, and that's a thing that happens to literally everyone, right? Because you build intuition, you build your skill set, you build expertise, and as you do that, you lose the perspective that you had when all of this was new, and so it becomes really hard to meet people where they are, because you no longer see the world the way that they see it anymore. You see the world through your own experience, which is great, but take a moment to realize that those things that you assume are so far advanced from what other people have experienced that it's a good opportunity to come back and see that again.
Yeah, I think it's a very good topic, and it's going to be fun to see you try and solve that thing in however long, 15 minutes.
I only have 5 minutes to get it scrambled.
5 minutes. Okay, it's going to be quite a bit of a workout, I think. But yeah, that's really good. So if you want to find Duffy's talk, it's in the notes for this episode. Regrettably, not on the blog post. But yeah, you can find it there. I highly recommend checking out if you're going to be in Detroit. It's going to be great. Duffy's always great. You know that.
Oh, thank you. And then our notes, the ones that Nick are referring to, you can find them at hackmd.io/echo live, and you'll find episode 66 linked there. So if you want to check them out, I can also put a link into the page, or into the chat, but I will do that later. All right. Should we talk about some of the talks you're interested in looking into?
Yeah, I mean, we got a few more things coming up, actually. So, eBPF Summit is there was some notes. The eBPF Summit videos are up, so that just happened a couple weeks ago, right? Which you were there. You were there for, right? Yeah. You want to talk about your experience a little bit?
So it was funny because I actually flew to Zurich to host an event in Pacific time.
Oh shit! Wow, that's very funny to go from Pacific time all the way to Central Eastern to then do a
that
Pacific
was kind
time.
of wacky.
That's very
awesome
funny.
part though is that Zurich is just a beautiful city. It's a great
Yeah.
place to be, and I got to hang out with Liz Rice, and I got to hang out with Bill Mulligan and Tracy Holmes, and just had a wonderful time just walking around and exploring the city together and talking about like all kinds of wonderful things. So it was great, and I think the event came off even better than last year. We had really good turnout. I'm sure we're going to be doing a blog post soon about how that all went. But if you do want to see the talks and you want to see what all the buzz was about, as it were, if you go to eBPF.io, up here at the top of the border, you see eBPF Summit 2022, and if you click on Watch Recordings, you're going to be able to see the entire recording for both days. Or if you click on any of the scheduled events, like eBPF, the Capital Markets event piece. Oh, I was under the impression that it would be linked in from there, but I do not see it there yet.
And that might be something we need to talk to Bill about.
Yeah. Watch day one. What happens when I click on it?
Hey, you get summit swag.
Ah, yes. So this is actually broken out by, so the first comment by Michael Frederick actually breaks down the talks. So you can click on any of these links and go directly there to that piece. But yeah, you're going to see the whole talk. I mean, this is the
Awesome.
whole day. And if you want to go to any particular part of the day, this is how you can do that. The same thing for day two.
Yeah. I highly recommend it.
And then, of course,
go ahead.
we're doing eBPF Day on Monday. Actually, no, we should do this in order because the first one coming up is actually not eBPF Day. It is
our good friend Rejects.
a place where you and I have presented.
We have. It's the closest I've gotten to presenting at KubeCon.
Yeah.
But yes, always recommend checking out Rejects. I know it's a little bit extra, but there's some really good talks that don't get accepted to KubeCon. Not for quality or anything like that, obviously, but because of there's just so many people providing really, really cool talks. There's only so much slots, right? So Rejects is an opportunity for you to go and check out some of the just some great talks in a very much more intimate environment, a smaller sort of con. It's great. I cannot speak highly enough about Cloud Native Rejects for sure.
Gosh, just looking at this lineup too. I mean, so for example, we have Jimmy Zielinski, somebody we both worked with at CoreOS, talking about cloud native authorization landscape. It'll be good to see Mr. Jimmy. And then we have Mauricio Celentano or Vasquez Bernal, who has actually worked with us a few times in eBPF Day and is going to be talking about how to measure CPU and memory usage of eBPF programs. That should be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
We have Karen Bruner.
Tracy Holmes. She has a Reject talk. That's great.
She does. We have Rich Burrows talking about virtual Kubernetes clusters, tips and tricks, and Leon Lee. Oh, wow. They're kind of like head to head. That's funny. So these two both work for the same company.
Oh, Ben and Kyle?
Lynn and Rich both work for the virtual cluster company.
Ah, that's interesting.
And so, yeah. Very cool. Lots of really great talks. I'm looking forward to this one. There should be a lot of really great stuff, including creating a positive community with Kim McMahon. So I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah. That's so good.
That happens on Sunday. This is usually like the day -1 event, if you will. Since it's not day 0. Day 0.
Yeah.
Day 0 is apparently Monday, and we are 0 indexed. So I guess it's the day -1 event.
Yeah. So it's the end of the stack.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one talk that I just saw. I want to shout out our friend Rich Burrows.
Yes.
A frequent member or audience member of the show. He's doing virtual Kubernetes clusters, tips and tricks, and I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah. That's the one I was kind of I was thinking it's going to be interesting because he's like going head to head time-wise with his compatriot.
Yeah.
Although I am very interested in seeing Leon's talk as well. Actions speak louder than words, building better communities. I mean, like there are a couple of talks in here that are talking about exactly this.
Yeah.
And I think it's important stuff. I mean, that's kind of why I put it in my talk.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's good stuff. After rejects, of course, we have the day 0 event, which is eBPF day. I'm not going to walk through the whole schedule, but suffice to say there are a number of really good talks involved in this particular event. And as you can see, there were some eBPF talks and rejects, which means that we had so much content that we couldn't really even host all of it, right? So we had to come up with, we had to only accept the talks that you see here. So definitely check this out. If you are coming by, come by and say hello. You know, we have stickers, we have swag, we have all kinds of wonderful stuff, and that would be lovely to see you. So if you're going to be there, definitely come check it out.
Yeah, for sure. This will be a great event.
And then the next one I have, and then the next thing for me, time-wise, is going to be the Security Day conference, which I don't have linked here. But let's get into some of these ones that you had highlighted. So this is another one that you brought up.
Yes. So yeah, these are a bunch of, so here are the talks we're looking forward to. If you recall the last time we did a KubeCon video, we kind of walked through some of the highlights that we went through the schedule and found some videos that we really liked. Or not videos, sorry, talks that sounded really fun. And so these are just some highlights. There's a lot of great talks at KubeCon, but these are some ones that stood out to me. The first one I think is really interesting, and I regret that it's a lightning talk because I don't know if it's going to be recorded, so I won't be able to see it. But it's open source Kubernetes and cloud native from the eyes of a high schooler. I think that's really cool, seeing how like a young person sees this community that we're all part of, getting their experience, kind of thing you're talking about. Like, hey, when you're at the beginning of your journey to us where we're at the end. No, I'm kidding. But no, toward, when we're in the middle of our journey, it'll be very cool to see this perspective and also to see like, a young new speaker. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, like one of the things I thought was really fun about the Kubernetes community from back in the day is that one of the earliest contributors of Kubernetes was a high school student. In fact, the person who got Kubernetes on ARM for the first time, I think was either a high school student or at the time he was like freshly into college. So it was really cool to see like younger people joining this community and contributing. And I'm really happy to see that is still today. It's really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, shout out to Lucas Karlstrom.
Yeah, that's right. I'm saying this, but I accidentally forgot his name. I'm terrible with names like that.
Yeah, and his Twitter handle, I think, might still be Kubernetes on ARM. I think that was his Twitter handle for the longest time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, hey, that's a huge contribution. Yeah. That is massive. So yeah, shout out to Rashid, and also congratulations on your upcoming entry into the University of Toronto. Yeah. Another one, a big shout out to our friend and former colleague Nadir. He is doing a talk with Pushkar about kind of the history of Cluster API, kind of like working with the Kubernetes community and building, the foundation of Cluster API and kind of where it is today. So I think this is going to be a really fun talk. Nadir is great. We love him to pieces. So go check his talk out. Also, I thought this one was great. It's, SIG architecture intro and deep dive. This is a community that is like part of the main, architecture of Kubernetes, right? And so Dims, so Davanam also goes by Dims, is a friend of ours as well. Bless you. And he is just great. He's so awesome. I think he's a great speaker, and I think this is going to be a very, very fantastic talk. And I'm interested to see what him and John from Google have to show us about SIG architecture. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I'll definitely second the Dims love. He's just an incredible human and really, really great at solving complex problems and also just keeping us all moving. Keeping us all motivated, and keeping things moving in the right direction. It's great.
Absolutely. You were mentioning the importance of building a positive community. And I really think that a large part of why the Kubernetes community is so positive is because of Dims. Like, he's great. Yeah. I've never seen him without a smile on his face, which isn't to say that he's like some robot that's only happy, but he's just a very positive guy. And the positivity, comes off of him in like a aura.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and he has that. He's one of those people who has the perspective that like anything is possible. Like there's nothing that isn't possible with STEMs, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I very much appreciate that. Where he won't shut down an idea just because he doesn't. It's not his, right, or anything like that. He's great. Anyway, always got to give a huge shout out to our brother Stephen Augustus. We love him to pieces. He's doing a keynote, of course. How many keynotes has he done now? Like 100.
A bunch, for sure.
A bunch. But I think he's a great speaker. I think he's charismatic. He's our friend, our colleague. I think you should go check this one out.
And this is talking about a new thing to Open Clarity ecosystem, function clarity, which gives developers a framework for code signing serverless functions. That'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think this will be really, really cool. And should be showing up some of the work that he's been doing as the head of open source for Cisco,
Yeah.
That'll be great. And then finally, this one just stood out to me. This is Bon Voyage to pre-quantum encryption. So it seems like a talk. I only was able to skim through the synopsis of it, but it seemed like a really interesting talk about where we're at with like Envoy and Service Mesh and going into like the quantum computing age, which I find the quantum computing age to be incredibly interesting and also incredibly scary. So this will be a fun talk. One of the things that stood out for me and why I picked it is that Emma Dickinson is a Washington State University student, which I thought was cool. Again, a university student contributing to the Kubernetes community, giving a talk, but also shout out to Washington State, baby.
Yeah.
Not that I went to Washington State University, just I live in Washington State and I'm from here. So, hey, I love to see it.
That's pretty awesome. This will be, I think this one does look pretty interesting. Wonder where they're going with that.
Yeah, this will be fun. And that's pretty much it for my list. That's the ones I was able to pull out. But there are a lot of great talks, obviously. Like, I didn't post any of the iSurveillance talks because I knew we had our list, but do check out all of the iSurveillance talks. Everyone is great, and they should be fun topics. Also, there's a lot of great talks from other people that we work with. Shout out to George Castro. His community was I think it's called Stacklets, right? They're doing a talk. Yep. Also, shout out to ChainGuard. They're doing a talk. Our friend and colleague Jed went and joined them. Regrettably not giving a talk this year, but shout out to them. I think those would be really, really interesting security-focused talks.
Yeah, I agree. I think those are going to be really good. And there's also one other thing I was going to throw in here just for just to make sure that I don't forget to do it.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing that is good to know about is this right here, which is let's see, KubeCon parties.
Oh, I didn't know they had a
website. There's so many
website.
things going on that there's like a whole darn website. Yes. And so if you're interested in finding out more about conference bodies that are happening at KubeCon NA, this is a whole list that goes Monday, Tuesday, basically all the way down through to Friday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they actually have a Twitter handle, which is where most of the time I see this stuff happening. Is that like if you go to the KubeCon party's Twitter handle, this is where they do a lot more of their announcements. But they have actually also now got a website where they post all this stuff.
Yo, that's really cool. I wish they had this earlier in different years. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff going on. Definitely check out the parties. A great way to meet new people and to talk about cool tech.
Definitely. And then I think the last one I was going to talk about, which I haven't done, SecurityCon. Take a look at that one real quick. Here we go. All right. So this is another day. This is a day, I guess it'd be day 0 event. It's before the main convention.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is always really fun because they have a CTF or a couple of CTFs that they actually host during the show. So this will be happening Monday and Tuesday. It's a 2-day event. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of these talks.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really, really fun.
Yeah. Tiffany is going to be talking about cloud native security for the rest of us. Tiffany's a great speaker. Jim is going to be on a panel discussion. There's a really good panel discussion here, securing the golden path, or basically adding guardrails for developers without getting in their way. Kind of an interesting one. And then we have Adrian. Adrian of Know What Is Happening Inside of Your Cluster fame will be talking about building images for the secure supply chain. So I think it'd be fun to see how that goes. That was actually one of Adrian's earlier talks that I was absolutely enamored with, because he was, basically had he started his talk off with know what's running inside your cluster. Don't just pull images from nowhere. Actually scan them, understand what they are, give them some, give them some provenance before actually doing any, assuming that it's going to all work out.
Yes, I've never done that. I've never just pulled.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. James will be doing the introduction to the control plane capture the flag at about 3:20 in the afternoon. And then we have closing remarks by Eric Smalling, somebody else we used to work with quite a bit.
Yeah,
and then
awesome.
Tuesday, a bunch more, capture the flag experience is happening at 9:30, and I think it kind of goes on for a while. I think they just have it in there to indicate when it actually starts, but it's going to be happening for hours. They usually have tables set up outside the security event where people can help you with your flag, or give you hints, or even just that you can help other people if they're stuck.
Oh, that's really cool. Nice.
Yeah, and then in closing, that's a wrap. They're going to have Andrew Martin will be there, which is always good to see him. But they're going to have a kind of a walkthrough of how to actually capture the flag and solve it. So,
that's awesome. That'll be useful for me. I've actually never participated in a capture the flag. I don't really, there's patterns and things like that. Well, I know, but it's just one of those things. I always mean to, and then I just it always passes me by whenever an opportunity happens. So, there's a pattern and things like this. Beat to anything. So the capture the flag beats. You have to do a few, I think, to get it really going. So it'll be fun to see, how you step through this capture the flag and find all the pieces.
Yeah, we actually did a capture the flag at the eBPF summit this year, and that was really fun. Liz put that together, and there are two scenes where I guess there were three parts of it, and Liz and Liz basically set it up, and then I had to solve it.
Yes, that's right.
And that was pretty fun. I really enjoyed those. But yeah, capture the flags are great because they kind of give you perspective, right? This is my through line. I'm all about perspective. But yeah, they really give you a different perspective into how all of the things that we build work, right? Because for the most part, you're thinking about how do I get this thing to work at all, let alone how do I get this thing to work when it's broken in some interesting or unique way, right?
Yeah.
And so CTFs are kind of good for that. All right. Well, I think that is everything that is happening. And there's some really great links here. And, just like last time, if you want to build your own schedule, right, you can go to you can go to one of these events. And then when you log in or sign up, which I don't think is going to cost you anything, but once you actually sign up, you can pick those events that you want to see, and they will export to your calendar. After the shows, after these events are over, if those events are recorded, then there'll be video linked from there. And so all things are going to be really good. So definitely come check it out.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing so many of you. And if you see me walking around, come say hi. Maybe I can get Nick on the phone and we can actually say hi to him too.
Yeah. Hey, give me a call. Yeah, seriously, I hope everyone who goes to KubeCon has a great time. I wish I was there. I would love to meet all of you. But take advantage of your time there. There's some great talks, but also, as always, don't neglect the power of the hallway track. If you see Duffy, say Duffy. I like
that.
But say hi. Obviously, Duffy's one of the nicest guys in the world, and it's fun to be able to talk to people and make connections in a community that you're a part of. So I think that this is the power of KubeCon. I know it's a big, daunting conference, but there's a lot to do, a lot to see, and a lot of people to meet. And I really hope everyone has a great time.
Yeah, me too. All right, y'all. I will see you next week. And, if you are attending the conference virtually, you can actually probably spend more time with Nick because he will be in our virtual booth. So definitely come check him out there.
Yes, totally forgot to mention that. I will be in the virtual booth all this week or the next week, usually between the hours of either like 10 to like 2 Pacific time. So like noon to 5, whatever, sometime around there, Eastern time. And so, come check it out. The virtual booth, if you're attending virtually, I will be there. And also, I believe Sean and I are doing like a Q&A session. So if you want to come and chat with me and one of my friends and colleagues at iSurveillance, we're doing a Q&A session about Cilium and Tetragon and all kinds of things.
Nice.
Cool.
Thank you. I'll see you all next time.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Let's stop sharing here from the screen. Bye.
Bye.
Wait. Oh, I'm looking for it. And